I basically grew up with women's basketball.
Yeah.
So like out the womb, because you
Right.
were already playing. So
Right.
so you were already playing. So like I basically learned the game of basketball. I basically learned the rules, the fundamentals.
Mhm.
So I I learned that from women's basketball. So like I
Mhm.
never I was I was never like a troll, like
Mhm.
those online trolls, like, oh, kitchen, like, oh, get back in the kitchen, or like,
Mhm.
oh, make me my sandwich. Like I wasn't like one of those. Like I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm watching, I'm learning, I'm having fun,
Yeah.
and it's all beneficial at the same time.
Mhm.
So like I just think it's like a part of me.
What's it like when you're out there rebounding for Deladon, Natasha Cloud, just to name a few?
Um, First game I was kind of like starstruck
Hmm.
because it was like, oh my gosh, Elena Della Don. I've been watching her since I was 12 years old.
Right.
Now I'm 19 and I'm rebounding for her. So it's like crazy. I just think it's unfair.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you went from like a playoff series like back to back,
Mm-hmm.
like each game, and now you got to focus on another season in like less than a week,
Right.
and you got to like mentally prepare for it, physically prepare for it, spiritually prepare for it. Time management.
Mm-hmm.
Time management is key, and staying true to yourself, because you can like go to college and you try to like fit in, but it's okay not to fit in. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to just stay true to yourself, stay reserved to yourself, and be yourself.
Yeah. Don't worry about
Yeah,
that. Pretty
yeah.
much.
Don't
Just
worry about that, because at the end of the day, it's nothing.
yeah.
Because Instagram is gonna die one day. Twitter is gonna die one day. So just be happy with what you have. Be happy with who you are as a person,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay to be yourself.
Welcome to Talks with Tay. I'm Taylor Brown, here with my younger brother, Jonathan Brown, aka JZB. My younger brother, he is a team attendant for the Washington Mystics, and also he attends Morehouse College. He's a sophomore, and we're just gonna talk. You
Okay.
know, pretty much. First of all, first and foremost, I'm proud of you, everything you've done, and just basically just growing up with you, and you're my only little brother. Um, but I want to ask you, what's it like for people who don't know, what is a team attendant, and what is it like to be a team attendant?
Okay, so a team attendant, we basically attend to the players, attend to the WNBA players. So we like make the Gatorade, we make the water.
Hmm.
Like we rebound or warm ups, we fold the towels, and like we handle the towels,
Yeah,
and it's like a lot of things going on. So
yeah. So, what's it like when you're out there rebounding for Deladon, Natasha Cloud, just to name a few?
um, first game I was kind of like starstruck
Hmm.
because it was like, oh my gosh, Elena Della Don. I've been watching her since I was 12 years old.
Right.
Now I'm 19 and I'm rebounding for her. So it's like crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like starstruck with a lot of players, but
Right.
I get used to it over time. But
Hmm.
it's still pretty cool.
Yeah. So Washington Mystics just won, the championship. I remember we were on the phone going back and forth, like excited whether they were going to win, and you had this confidence that you knew they were going to win. That you booked your flight.
Yes.
You booked your flight coming home, expecting to celebrate.
Yes.
Talk about that experience when you came home and it didn't quite work out the way you thought it was.
All right. So game 4, we
Mhm.
were up 3-2 in the series. No, not well. Two. We were up 2-1 in the
Mhm.
series. 2-1. We were up 2-1. We lost game 4, so series tied 2-2.
Right.
So in order to take my frustrations out after the loss,
Mhm.
I bought my tickets on Southwest. So I bought my ticket and I was like, "We're gonna win." I sent it to you, and I was
Right.
like, "I'm coming home."
Right.
So so the game 5 was on October 10th,
Uh-huh.
Thursday.
Right.
So I'm thinking if we win,
Mm-hmm.
celebration is going to be on Saturday, October 12th.
Right.
So I was like, okay, all right, this is it. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
So Thursday comes, game 5, October 10th. We win.
Right.
We win. I'm happy. I'm celebrating. Like, I'm coming home. We're going to have the celebration. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And so after the game, I studied because I had 3 midterms the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, so I read like an article from SB Nation
Mm-hmm.
that the celebration was on October 11th.
Yeah.
Never wanted that to happen.
Yeah.
I was hurt. I was hurt.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I was like, why am I coming home?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I was hurt. I was hurt.
That was the whole point to come home.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about that? You know, WA players, they just won a championship, and they can't really take the time to celebrate it because most of them have to go overseas, and because they already signed a contract. So, how do you feel about that? That WNBA players have to leave, so suddenly right after the season. They just played, tough series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's unfair.
Mm.
It's like you went from like a playoff series, like back to back,
Mm-hmm.
like each game, and now you got to focus on another season in like less than a week,
Right.
and you got to like mentally prepare for it, physically prepare for it, spiritually prepare for it.
Right.
So it's just another long 6, 7, 8 months of
Right.
just hard work and just
Wear and tear.
and
Yeah.
it's just mentally takes an effect on your body. So
Right.
it's just hard.
Right. Speaking of that, how do you feel about WNBA players, and their salary cap, versus how they get paid, and the reason why they have to go overseas is probably more their paying gigs.
I think it's unfair because like they're the best basketball players in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and they gotta like play at home in the United States of America,
Right.
and they gotta go overseas to a country probably never even heard of,
Right.
and like they gotta get used to the culture,
Mm-hmm.
and then they gotta like make sure like they're actually surviving,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think it's unfair,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just hard, and the looking at the CBA,
Mm-hmm.
that WNBA is about to opt out,
Mm-hmm.
even though the season's over, they already opted out,
Mm-hmm.
but they were getting paid like 20%
Mm-hmm.
of like the league's earnings, and the NBA is getting paid like 50% of the league's earnings,
Right.
and I just think like that's a huge gap.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can ball, like
Right,
they can
right.
ball just like them, because ballers recognize ballers no matter the gender,
Right. Right.
and I just think that's just unfair.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I agree. So talk about what's so important about your job as a team attendant. Like, what do you do? I know we talked about it, but what makes your job so important that helps the team be successful? In the court.
We make sure the players are like ready for the game,
Mhm.
and they're like taken care of during the game, and also taken care of after the game.
Right.
So we make sure like everything is going well. So during warm-ups, we make sure the players are warmed up. So during the game, if they hit like, like 5 threes in a row,
Right.
like we get like at least a little credit.
Right.
So
Right.
because we got them warmed up and they're ready, and next they're on fire.
Right.
So
So during the game, say somebody falls and it's the ground is sweaty.
Yes.
What do you? That's when you come in, right?
yeah, that's where I come in. So I'm sitting sideline by like the photographers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting sideline, and if a player falls on the floor, I immediately get up and I run over there and I try to mop the floor whenever it's a dead ball.
Right.
So here's the thing, you got to do it like real quick,
Mm-hmm.
because when the referee he try to start the play back up again like real quickly.
Right.
So I'll be running in. I'll be trying to get the ref's attention and be like, hold on, wait a second, like wait a minute, wait a second.
Right.
And then the ref will be like, okay.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I hope they don't give me a delay of game one day.
Right.
If they do, I'll be upset.
You're just doing your job pretty much.
Yeah, I'm just doing my job, make sure nobody gets hurt.
Right.
Because if someone gets hurt, then it's on me, and I'm going to feel bad.
So just talk about like the importance of like networking, and basically, we talked about it, pretty much how you reached out, you asked like, hey, I'm interested, so talk about like somebody, a young student that's in college, right, going to their sophomore year, or maybe in high school, and they're looking for an opportunity. They want to be in your shoes. What
Mhm.
would you tell them? What you did and what they could do to get the same opportunity.
Um, so with me, with the team attendant for the Mystics, so I just sent an email to my supervisor,
Mhm.
and she, I sent her an email, my resume,
Mhm.
cover letter,
Right.
like what I did,
Mhm.
and it just worked out for me. And it's
Right.
okay to ask.
Right.
It's okay to ask, and even if you get rejected, at least you ask,
Mhm.
and they'll probably say your name. They'll probably give you another opportunity, and probably that you may not want, but at least it's an opportunity for you to do something for yourself that you can improve.
Right. When you're out there on the floor, doing your job, of course, were you able to interact and network with other people, and just talk about being in that atmosphere, and what that does for you.
Yeah, you interact with a lot of people. You interact with your colleagues. You interact with the players,
Mhm.
coaches,
Mhm.
sometimes even the fans.
Mhm.
So, and it's a pretty great. It's a great experience.
Yeah.
So it's it's like, all right, you're talking to your colleague. Next, thing you know, you're talking to Natasha Cloud.
Mhm.
So it's like pretty amazing. It's like wow.
Well,
So
yeah. So out of all the team attendants in the whole world, do you think you're the best attendant?
in the whole world, I would start off small. Say with the league.
Okay,
With
with
the
the
league.
league. All right.
With the league, yes.
Okay.
I like try to do the best I can, and I try to try to outperform.
Mhm.
So so like when there's like a nationally televised game,
Mhm.
so if I'm like watching like, for example, Las Vegas Aces versus the Los Angeles Sparks,
Mhm.
so I would like pay attention to the team attendance.
Mhm.
Like if it's a home game at Vegas, I'll pay attention to the team attendance of Vegas,
Mhm.
and I'll like watch what they do, and I'll like judge on how they perform. And I'll
Mhm.
be like, okay, how can I be better? How can I do that but better, but ten
Mhm.
times better?
Mhm.
So I can make sure that nobody gets hurt. Make sure like everyone is like well prepared just
Mhm.
for like the next play. So
Yeah. All right. I got two more questions for you. So we grew up playing basketball.
yes,
We talked about it, and it's pretty much just been our life.
yes.
Like we love basketball, and just talk about how much you as a person, as individual, how much you love basketball. Just seeing me playing really women's basketball, and then of course it's men's basketball. But just talk about your involvement interaction with women's basketball, and how, just being a part of the Mystics, like
hmm
and how much you love seeing them play. Like that's something you're really passionate about.
Yeah. I basically grew up with women's basketball.
Yeah.
So like out the womb because you were
Right.
already playing.
Right.
So so you were already playing. So like I basically learned the game of basketball. I basically learned the rules, the fundamentals.
Mhm.
So I I learned that from women's basketball. So like I
Mhm.
never like I was I was never like a troll, like
Mhm.
those online trolls, like oh kitchen, like oh get back in the kitchen, or like
Mhm.
oh make me my sandwich. Like I wasn't like one of those. Like I was like okay,
Yeah.
I'm watching, I'm learning, I'm having fun,
Yeah.
and like it's all beneficial at the same time.
Mhm.
So like I just think it's like a part of me.
So you like grew up respecting women's basketball as a kid.
Yes.
Yeah. And what advice would you give someone is in your position, sophomore in college, or maybe be their freshman year in college. Just talk about your experience at transition, at Morehouse, and what advice would you give them?
Time management.
Mm-hmm.
Time management is key, and staying true to yourself, because
Mm-hmm.
you can like go to college and you try to like fit in, but it's okay not to fit in. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to just stay true to yourself, stay reserved to yourself, and be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to be someone else, or because they got a certain amount of followers on Twitter or Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Just enjoy. If you have 5 followers on Instagram, for example, be happy you got 5 followers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't worry about
Yeah,
that. Pretty
yeah.
much,
Don't
just
worry about that because at the end of the day, it's nothing.
yeah.
Because Instagram is gonna die one day. Twitter is gonna die one day. So just be happy with what you have. Be happy with who you are as a person,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay to be yourself. And time management is very key because I've seen a lot of people on campus have poor time management,
Mm-hmm.
and they just freak out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very key to have time management because you have things organized. You keep yourself on afloat. You keep yourself afloat, and you just do this, you do that, and you're not stressed out. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're not stressed out,
Mm-hmm.
and you just keep doing what you're doing. So yeah.
Going back to school next week, I know you're probably still on the high, still excited that the Mystics won and stuff like that. What can you take from this situation and just coming home and first experiencing being a part of an organization, a championship like that. But what can you take away from this experience?
Just being part of the program, it makes me it made me feel young again because growing up we were always on basketball.
Right.
Basketball like Monday through Sunday.
Right.
Just basketball, basketball, basketball.
Yeah.
And it made me feel young again, made me feel happy again because looking at the Mystics, it made me feel like all right, I'm watching Taylor. So it made me feel like all right, these are my sisters, and like I'm gonna cheer them on. I got their back. Like I'm gonna go hard for them. So they're going 100%. I'm going 100%, and it made me feel happy, made me feel young again. So it's really like a family. So
Yeah.
so that's what it felt like, and I feel blessed to be a part of the situation. So yeah.
That's great, man. I'm proud of you. Everybody, the family's proud of you. Everybody contacts us and say, "Oh, we see your brother on TV," and it's it's just a good feeling to see that, and we all know you're working hard. So. All right, man. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
No
And
problem.
again, like I said, I'm proud of you, everything you're doing, and you know, you have a great insight. You have a perspective that other people can learn from. So keep doing what you're doing, and that's a wrap. With my younger brother, Jonathan Brown. Pretty much, he's a team attendant for the Washington Mystics. So congrats to the Mystics, for winning the championship, and stay tuned for what we got coming up next.